Hello everyone, I am Lavanya Jayaraman, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So in this video, we are going to discuss pooling and convolutional neural networks, also known as CNN, from the course CS22032 Deep Neural Networks. So let's get started. Pooling. Pooling in CNN. Pooling is a downsampling operation applied to the future maps generated by convolutional layers in a CNN. So in simple terms, it reduces the width and height of these future maps while preserving the most important information. By doing so, pooling serves multiple purposes. First, it reduces the number of computations required in subsequent layers because smaller future maps means fewer values to process. So, it reduces the number of parameters which helps the network to avoid overfitting, especially in deep neural networks with many layers. And it also provides a form of invariance to small shifts, translations or distortions in the input. This means that if the object in the image moves slightly, the pooled future map will still represent the object correctly. So in short, we will tell like pooling acts like a summary operation which keeps only the most significant information from a local region of the future map. So why pooling is important? So pooling is not just about reducing the size, it plays a key role in learning the robust futures. It reduces the computation. So a smaller future maps which reduce the number of calculations needed in later layers which speed up the training. And then next one is controls overfitting. So by compressing information, pooling removes unnecessary details and forces the network to focus on dominant features, reducing the chance of memorizing noise. Enhance future robustness. Pooling emphasizes the most important signals in a region like strong edges, textures or patterns and ignores minor variations. It provides a translation invariance. If an object in the input image shifts slightly, pooling ensures the future map still captures the essential characteristics, making the network more stable and reliable. Common pooling operations include max pooling, which selects the largest value in a patch, and average pooling, which calculates the mean. Each has its own advantage depending on the task. Types of pooling. There are two types of pooling here, max pooling and then average pooling. Max pooling. It is the most commonly used pooling operation in CNN. It works by selecting the largest value from each patch or window of the future map. For example, if we have a 2 by 2 patch like 1352 means the maximum pool will select 5, which is the largest value, the maximum value. So this operation retains the most prominent feature in that region, such as a strong edge, corner or texture, while ignoring weaker signals. So max pooling is particularly effective at emphasizing distinctive features and making the network more robust to small changes in the input. Then second one is average pooling. Average pooling works differently. Instead of picking the maximum value, it calculates the average value of the patch. For the same 2 by 2 patch, 1352, the average value is 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 2 divided by 4. So the value will become 2.75. So average pooling smooths the feature map, giving a representation of the overall presence of features rather than focusing only on the strongest activation. So it can be useful when you want to retain contextual information instead of just the strongest signals. This figure illustrates the concept of pooling in convolutional neural network. Pooling is an important operation used after convolution layers to reduce the spatial size of feature maps while retaining the most important information. On the left side of the figure, you see a feature map of size 4 by 4. These values represents activations produced by filters during the convolution process. Each number indicates the strength of a detected feature at that particular location. To perform pooling, the feature map is divided into smaller regions. So in this example, the feature map is divided into 4 regions, each of size 2 by 2. Each 2 by 2 region is processed separately to produce a smaller output feature map. This process helps to reduce the dimensions of the data from 4 by 4 to 2 by 2. Max pooling. The first technique shown in the figure is max pooling. So max pooling selects the largest value from each 2 by 2 region. For the first region, the values are 12, 19, 3 and 10. Among these numbers, the maximum value is 19. So, the output of this region becomes 19. In the second region, the values are 0, 9, 35 and 12. The maximum value is 35, so the output becomes 35. The third region contains 22, 34, 41 and 3. The largest value is 41. And then the fourth region contains 44, 0, 4 and 92. The maximum value in this region is 92. Therefore, after applying max pooling, the output feature map becomes a 2 by 2 matrix containing the values 19, 35, 41 and 92. Max pooling is widely used because it preserves the most prominent features while discarding less important information. Then average pooling. The second techniques shown in this figure is average pooling. Instead of selecting the maximum value, average pooling computes the average of all values in each region. For the first region, the values 12, 19, 3 and 10 are added and divided by 4, giving an average of 11. In second region, the average of the values 0, 9, 35 and 12 is approximately 14. For the third region, the average of 22, 34, 41 and 3 results in 25. In fourth region, the values 44, 0, 4 and 92 produce an average of 35. Thus, the output feature map after average pooling becomes the matrix 11, 14, 25 and 35. How pooling works? With an example. So input 4 by 2 feature map and pool size here is 2 by 2. We are converting the 4 by 4 feature map to 2 by 2. So here the stride given is 2. So here the future map, input feature map has the first row of input 1, 3, 2, 4 and then 5, 6, 1, 2 and then 9, 8, 7, 6 and then 4, 3, 2, 1. So using maximum pooling, we take the maximum value from each 2 by 2 region. So pooling is an important step in CNN. So here the output will become from first row 1, 3, 2, 4. The maximum value for 2 by 2 future is 3 and 4. And then for second row 5, 6, 1, 2. Here the maximum value is 6 and 2. And then in a third row from 9 8 the maximum value is 9, and then from 7 6 the maximum value is 7. And then in fourth row fourth in 4 3 the maximum value is 4, and then in 2 1 the maximum value is 2. So it makes the future maps very smaller, which helps the network run faster and use less memory. So maximum pooling is the most common type. It keeps the most important features in each patch, like strong edges or shapes. It also makes the network more robust, and small movements or shifts in the image won't change the output much, and it is less affected by noise in the input. Why choosing max or average pooling? So pooling helps CNN to reduce the size of feature map and focus on important information, but the type of pooling you choose can change what features are emphasized. So there are two main types. First one is max pooling, and then second one is average pooling. So in max pooling, it picks the largest value in each patch of the feature map, as we seen in before slides, and this means it highlights the strongest or most important feature in that area. So it is especially useful when the presence of a feature matters more than its exact location. For example, if we are detecting an edge or corner in an image, max pooling ensures that this feature is retained even if the edge moves slightly. So maximum pooling helps the network focus on distinctive features and ignore small variations or weak signals. And second one is average pooling. So average pooling, which calculates the average value in each patch instead of taking the maximum value. It smooths the feature map, giving a sense of the overall intensity or presence of features in that region. So it is useful when the network needs to understand general patterns rather than just the strongest activation. So for example, in texture recognition or heat map, like inputs, average pooling, the average pooling keeps the general trend of features rather than only the peak values. So the main key idea here is use max pooling when the strongest feature is most important. Use average pooling when you want a smoother representation of the features. By choosing the right pooling type, CNN can better capture the information that matters for the task at hand, making them more accurate and efficient. Pooling parameters in CNN. Pooling has a few important parameters that determine how it works and how much it reduces the size of the feature map. So let's go through them. First, window size, F into F. So this is the size of the patch or region the pooling operation looks at. So for example, 2 by 2 window means the pooling layer considers 2 rows and 2 columns at a time. The window size determines how much we downsample the feature map. The larger the window, the more the size reduced. Second one is stride. So stride is how far the pooling window moves after each operation. A stride of one moves the windows 1 pixel at a time. Overlapping regions. So a stride equal to the window size moves the window without overlap, covering the feature map in non-overlapping patches. Third one is padding. Padding is optional in pooling. So sometimes zeros are added around the edges of the feature map to control the output size. Padding can help ensure that the pooling window covers the edges properly. So the main idea here is the combination of window size, stride and padding which decides how much the feature map is downsampled. So choosing the right parameters balances reducing size with retaining important features in the network. Effect of pooling on output size. So after applying pooling, the output size of the feature map depends on a few key factors. The input size, the pooling window, the stride and any padding we can use. The formula is output size equal to W minus F plus 2P divided by S plus 1. Where W is the width or height of the input feature map, F is the pooling window size, S is the stride or how far the window moves each step, P is padding, usually 0 or pooling. So here by choosing the right window size, stride and padding, we can control how much the feature map is reduced. A larger window or larger stride reduces the feature map more, while padding can help preserve edges and make the output size more predictable. Pooling lets us downsample feature maps efficiently, keeping important information while reducing computation in later layers. Pooling and translation invariance. Pooling not only reduces feature map size but also makes a CNN more robust to small movements in the input. For example, if an object in the image shifts slightly, say 1 or 2 pixels, the max or average value in the pooling window usually stays the same. This means the network can still detect the feature even if it has moved a little. In other words, pooling gives CNN translation invariance, allowing them to recognize objects regardless of minor position changes. This property is one of the key reasons pooling is so important in convolutional neural network. How pooling creates translation invariance. So pooling creates a translation invariance in convolutional neural network. So it works by summarizing information within a small regions of a feature map. Instead of keeping every value, it selects a representative value from each region, which helps the network focus on the most important features. So let us look at the simple example. Consider a future map like this: 00500500. So where the value 5 represents an important feature that has been detected by the convolution layer. Now imagine that the object in the image moves slightly. Because of this small movement, the position of the value 5 in the future map may also shift a little. However, when maximum pooling is applied, it looks at a small region and selects the maximum value from that region. Even if the position of the feature changes slightly within that region, the pooling layer will still capture the value 5. So as a result, the pooled output remains almost the same even though the feature has moved slightly in the input image. This property is called translation invariance. This means the neural network can still recognize a feature or object even when its position changes slightly. Because of this, pooling helps CNN become more robust and reliable when processing real-world images where objects may appear in slightly different. So why translation invariance is important in CNN? Translation invariance helps CNN in several ways. It allows the network to recognize objects anywhere in the image, not just in a fixed position. It reduces sensitivity to small movements or shifts in the input image. It improves the robustness of the network, making it more reliable in real-world scenarios. It reduces computation because The network does not need to learn separate features for every possible location. This property is especially useful in tasks such as face recognition. So in face recognition, the network can recognize a face even if it is slightly shifted. Then next is object reduction. So in objects can be detected even if they are in different parts of the image. And then image classification, images can be correctly classified even if the main object is not perfectly centered. So overall, pooling and translation invariance makes CNN more efficient, flexible and accurate for real world image processing tasks. Advantages of pooling in CNN. Pooling offers several important benefits in convolutional neural network. It reduces spatial dimension and pooling shrinks the width and height of feature maps, and it helps to simplify the data the network has to process and reduces computation and memory usage. And smaller feature maps means fewer calculations in the following layers, and it also reduces the memory needed to store intermediate results, and it adds translation and rotation invariance, and pooling makes the network less sensitive to small shifts, movements or rotations in the input image. And even if an object moves slightly, the pooled future map can still represent it correctly. So it helps to prevent overfitting. By downsampling and focusing on the most important features, pooling removes unnecessary details. This allows the network to generalize better to unseen data. This diagram represents the architecture of a convolutional neural network, so also called as a CNN. So it is widely used in image recognition and classification tasks because they can automatically learn the important features from the images. So here the first stage is the input layer. So the system receives an input image. In this example, the image contains a flower with different components such as petals, stem and leaves. The image is represented as a matrix of pixel values. Next, the image is passes through the convolution layer. In this layer, small filters called kernels slide across the image. These filters perform mathematical operations to detect important patterns such as edges, textures, and shapes. Each filter produces a feature map that highlights specific visual feature present in the image. After the convolution operation, we apply an activation function called ReLU, which stands for Rectified Linear Unit. The purpose of ReLU is to introduce non-linearity into the network. It works by converting negative values to 0 while keeping positive values unchanged. This helps the neural network learn complex relationships within the data. The next stage is the pooling layer. Pooling reduces the spatial size of the feature maps while keeping the most important significant information. For example, in max pooling, the maximum value from each region of the feature map is selected. It reduces the number of parameters and speeds up computation and also provide translation invariance. So it means small shift in the image will not affect deductions significantly. In deep CNN architecture, this process of convolution, ReLU activation and pooling is repeated several times. Each successive layer extracts more complex features. Early layers detect simple patterns such as edges or corners, while deeper layers identify more meaningful structures such as leaves, flowers or objects. After feature extraction is completed, the feature maps are passed to the flatten layers. Flattening converts the multidimensional feature maps into a one-dimensional vector so that it can be processed by traditional neural network layers. Next comes the fully connected layers. So in this stage, every neuron is connected to all neurons in the previous layer. The fully connected layer combines all the extracted features and learns how they relate to different output classes. Finally, the output passes through the softmax layer. The softmax function converts the output values into probability scores for each class. For example, the model may predict probability such as 95% for leaf and 3% for grass and 2% for bushes. The class with the highest probability is selected as the final prediction of the CNN model. So simple CNN on 32 by 32 RGB image. Step 1. So input layer, let's start with 32 by 32 RGB image. The image has three channels, red, green and blue. So here we are representing a 32 cross 32 into 3. And each channel is a 32 by 32 2D matrix. So the input size here is 32 into 32 into 3. So this is the output that will pass through our convolutional neural network. Step 2. First convolutional layer. So we apply the first convolutional layer. So here the number of filter is 6 and filter size is 5 into 5 into 3 matches the input depth, and stride is 1 and padding is 0. There is no extra pixels added. We calculate the output size using the formula output size equal to W minus F plus 2P divided by S plus 1. So substituting the values, output size equal to 32 minus 5 plus 0 divided by 1 plus 1 equal to 28. So the output of this convolutional layer is 28 into 28 into 6. Here we have 6 feature maps, one for each filter, each of size 28 cross 28. This layer extracts 6 different features from the input image such as edges, textures or color patterns. Step 3. First pooling layer. After the first convolution layer, we apply a pooling layer to reduce the size of our feature map. So here the type is max pooling. Pool size is 2 by 2 and then stride is 2. We calculate the output size using the formula output size equal to S into W minus F divided by S plus 1. So here we substitute the values. Output size equal to 28 minus 2 divided by 2 plus 1 equal to 14. So the output feature after pooling is 14 into 6. So the spatial size is reduced, but we retain the most important features for the convolution layer. Step 4. Second convolution layer. Next, we apply a second convolution layer to extract more complex features from the pooled feature maps. So number of filters here is 16. Filter size is 5 by 5 and stride is 1 and padding is 0. We calculate the output size using the formula output size equal to W minus F plus 2P divided by S plus 1. By substituting the values, output size equal to 14 minus 5 plus 0 divided by 1 plus 1 equal to 10. So the output feature map after this convolution is 10 into 10 into 16. Here we now have 16 feature maps, each capturing different complex features like shapes or patterns in the image. Step 5. Second pooling layer. After the second convolution, we apply another max pooling layer to further reduce the size of the feature maps. So type here is max pooling and pool size is 2 by 2 and stride is 2. Output size calculation. So output size equal to 10 minus 2 divided by 2 plus 1 equal to 5. So the output feature map is now 5 by 5 into 12. This reduces the spatial dimensions further while keeping the most important features, making the network more efficient for the next layers. like fully connected layers. Step 6. Flattening. After the last pooling layer, our future map has the shape 5 by 5 by 16. To feed it into a fully collected layer, we flatten the future map into a single 1D vector. Flattening converts 5 into 5 into 16 patch to 400 values into 400 neurons. Each neuron now represents one feature extracted by the convolution and pooling layers. Step 7. Fully connected layer. Next, we use fully connected layers to perform high-level reasoning and classification. Example configuration. First fully connected layer is here 120 neurons. Second fully connected layers has 84 neurons. And the output layer 10 neurons for classification. Example 0 to 9. These layers combine the features learned by the convolution layers to make a final prediction. Step 8. Activation function. Activation functions introduce non-linearity, which helps the network learn complex patterns. ReLU, rectified linear unit, is used in hidden layers. It outputs the input directly if positive or zero otherwise. ReLU helps the network learn faster and avoids vanishing gradients. Softmax is used in the output layer for classification. It converts the outputs into probabilities for each class, so the sum of all probabilities equals 1. The class with the highest probability is the network's prediction. So by combining convolution, pooling, flattening, fully connected layers and activation functions, this simple CNN can take a 32 by 32 RGB image and classify it into one of 10 categories efficiently. Advantages of convolutional neural network. CNN has several powerful advantages that make them ideal for image and video tasks. First, automatic feature learning. So CNN can learn features directly from raw images. Unlike traditional methods, there is no need to manually design feature extractors. Fewer parameters due to weight sharing. So convolution layer reuse the same filters across the image. This reduces the number of parameters compared to fully connected networks, making CNN more efficient and easier to train. And next one is translation invariance. CNNs can recognize objects even if they shift slightly in the image. Pooling and convolution operations help make the network robust to small movements or distortions. Highly effective for many tasks. CNNs excel at image classification, object detection, and segmentation. They are widely used in medical imaging, video analysis, facial recognition, autonomous driving, and more. Applications of convolutional neural network. CNN are widely used in any real-world tasks because of their ability to automatically learn features and recognize patterns from images and videos. Here are some key applications. Image classification. CNN can identify objects or diseases in images. For example, they are used to detect diseases in X-ray or MRI scans. Object detection and localization. CNN cannot only recognize objects but also locate them in an image. This is used in applications like self-driving cars or security systems. Medical image segmentation. CNN helps segment important structures such as tumors, lesions, or organs in medical images. This is essential for diagnosis and treatment planning. Next, facial recognition. CNN extract key features from faces, enabling accurate recognition even with changes in lighting or expression. Autonomous driving and surveillance. CNNs help to detect pedestrians, vehicles, traffic signs, or obstacles in real time for safety and navigation. Remote sensing and satellite imagery. So it analyzes satellite images to detect land features, water bodies, vegetations, or urban areas.
So CNN are extremely versatile, capable of handling tasks from medical imaging to autonomous driving and beyond, making them the backbone of modern computer vision.